Hello, my name is Damian Jones from H&H. Here today to talk about the 45 cars we've got going under the hammer at the RAC's Woodcote Park on Tuesday, June the 6th. It's a sale that's themed around sports and GT cars. We've got some great examples of a variety of marques with a strong British contingent. So we've got some fabulous Aston Martins. We've got an Aston Martin DB5 that was in single family ownership from 1964 all the way through to till 2005. That's a car that was never allowed to deteriorate to the point of needing restoration, just kept, and it's in recent years it's been much improved by marque specialist post-vintage engineering. So they've overhauled the engine, installed air conditioning, it's now got power steering, it's got sat-nav, it's been gone through mechanically, very nicely sorted. We've spoken to several of the previous owners, they're all very complimentary about the car. We've also got a fantastic Aston Martin DB6 Vantage that's been in the current ownership since the 1980s. That's been off the road since 1991. The engine's still free. It is the original engine to the car. That's been stored away in a barn for a number of years. We've got some lovely Bentleys. So we've got one of 119 S1 Continental fastbacks. That particular car's been in the current ownership since 1984. It's a past Concours Award winner, matching numbers car. Really lovely, lovely thing, and one of the most beautiful 50s designs ever, also I think. We've got a much more modern Bentley, a Bentley Continental GT. That's done just 15,000 miles from new. That's a London car, only being offered for sale because the current owner feels he's a little bit too old for it now. We've got a very, very nice AC Asika Bristol. That is the third Asika Bristol chassis built. It's again a matching numbers car. It's had some recent work by In Racing, Ian Nuttall. Vendor's gone through it. That car is potentially Mille Miglia eligible. We've got some lovely Italian exotica. So we've got a Ferrari 308 GTS, one of 184 UK market cars. That was originally owned by Tony Banks of rock band Genesis, and that's been recently restored by GTB Restorations out in Suffolk. Very, very nice car in silver with dark blue upholstery. We've got a 1965 Maserati Quattroporte 4700cc. That particular car was built to the special order of Dr. Enrico Wax, an importer of Swiss, luxury goods into Switzerland, and had a particular relationship with both Ferrari and Maserati. And this particular car was not only the first Quattroporte to be fitted with a larger 4.7 litre V8, it came with long-range fuel tanks, it came with special exhausts, it came with a bespoke interior, and it's a fabulous car. It's been restored in recent years and ready for a new owner. We've got no less than 6 Jaguar ETypes in there. We've got a car that's caused an awful lot of excitement, a 1962 3.8 litre fixed head coupe that's been in the current ownership since August 1976. The vendor actually grafted on the M5 motorway while it was still being built as a student, and that was his car for tooling around Bristol University. So you can imagine he was the envy of quite a few friends. He kept that car running into the 1980s, then various business commitments took over, and it was driven into the Linhay barn that it's been in ever since in North Devon under its own power in the late 80s. He last had it running in about 2001. Again, matching numbers car, and that one will require an awful lot of restoration, but a fabulous provenance behind it, great condition. Various Subarus, the most famous of which is the ex-Colin McRae 1996 Subaru WRC 97. It's chassis 001. It's a car that was actually developed by McRae and Nicky Grist ahead of the 1997 season. It debuted at the 1996 Rally Catalunya. It was tested after the rally, which actually McRae won in a Group A car, and he immediately stepped out of it and went, this is faster, it's an improvement. Just incredible technological achievement. They spent 600 hours reinforcing the body shell on those cars, and you can really tell if you drive it. It is absolutely the most exceptional thing I've ever had the pleasure of driving. Huge performance, but huge certainty, and you just get a real sense and admiration for everything that Colin McRae was able to do, and ProDrive as a company for what they built and enabled him to do it. So on the back of the WRC 97, we've got a Series McRae Impreza, and we've also got an Impreza P1. Now the latter was number 827 of the 1,000 built. It's got a particularly nice history behind it. It's got a good service history. I think it's only done 600 or 800 miles since the belts were last changed. Very, very tidy example. Other highlights among the Italian cars on offer, we've got a 1961 Alfa Romeo Giulietta Sprint Speciale. That's one of 1,366 such cars made. Very, very handsome, very stylish, very elegant cars. The one that we have for offer has been subject to much past restoration work and is in lovely order. It's a car that one of my colleagues has had the pleasure of driving and still raves about, so that's well worth a look. In terms of one-offs, we've got the Towle Jericho Climax Coupe that's been the subject of a recent article in Classic and Sports Car magazine. That's heralding back to a time when you could have something made to measure, so to speak, rather than buying an off-the-peg MG or Austin Healey, and that's a delightful little thing. Other sort of one-offs, there's a car in there, a Jaguar Mark1 that was re-engineered for the vendor by Martin Greaves of Classic Performance Engineering, and that was built as a tribute to the late Brian Lister, so it's got running gear that could have been found aboard a Nobly Lister in the late 50s. So the engine is a D-type specification unit built by John Pearson, actually originally for John Coombs, who ran it in his ex-Écurie Belge Nationale Jaguar D-type. And that Mark1 is really a wolf in sheep's clothing. Very, very understated. It's got what looks to be its original red leather upholstery, but I mean, the giveaways on the outside got to be those Lister magnesium wheels and the Coombs-style rear arches. Got a couple of very rare Porsches, so we've got a 1975 Porsche 911 Carrera 2.7 Targa, which is believed to be the last of just 6 UK-supplied right-hand drive examples. That's been in the current ownership since 1985 and been through quite a lot of restoration work. Preceding the 45 cars, we've got 80 lots of automobilia, all being offered without reserve. They're all motorsport themed. There's some fabulous black and white photos in there and other sort of knickknacks. We've got a couple of registration plates. The automobilia will start at 11 o'clock in the morning on the Tuesday. The motorcars will start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the Tuesday. We hope you agree that the RAC's Woodcote Park is one of the most beautiful auction environments in the UK. Be delightful to see you there if you can make it, and fingers crossed for good weather. Thank you. Bye-bye.